Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is June 16, 2020. This is episode 19 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm your pop culture connoisseur. And with me is a little change of pace. A little change of pace this week. I don't have Radar with me. He's my usual guest. He's called away on business. But we have a special guest joining us on the show this week, another member of the WTF Nation Radio family, the incomparable Shipwreck. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, nothing much. Just happy to join you while Radar's doing one of those secret squirrel stuff.
That's right. That's right. He's taking care of business, keeping America free. But oh man, I'm so glad. Are you excited to be on the show? Because I'm super excited to talk what's going on with you and hear your take on some stuff.
Oh, I'm very excited I can break your balls tonight. So this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, and as people are already commenting, Wallbreaker, the beard is gone. I have eliminated the quarantine beard, the bird's nest that I had going. Yeah, it was definitely time to go. So people are already noticing, man. What's up, Doc? Thanks for hanging in there. Heath, what you guys doing? Thanks for joining us, man. We already got people kicking it on the chats and everything. I see Maria, I see Steven. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. It's gonna be a fun show. We got some really cool stuff to talk about. I do want to quickly point out that on the Facebook page, on the Pop Culture Warrior Facebook page, we are at 243 likes. And I've said it many weeks now, when we hit 250, we're doing a huge giveaway. All right? Big, first ever, one of a kind giveaway. It's going to be a lot of stuff. So we just need, 7? We're 7 likes away. So spread the word, share. Because all you have to do is like the page. You're automatically into the giveaway. You're in for the raffle. So Mr. Shipwreck, do you like the page? Do you like the Pop Culture Facebook page?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool looking and entertaining, actually.
Yeah, we throw some things on there.
I should hit a like so I can qualify,
That's right.
Hey,
everybody, this first one for sure, everybody and their mama. If you like the page, you are entered in to win the raffle. And I'm gonna do this once we hit 250. I'm gonna do it live on air. Do the random drawing. I'll pull up the computer screen and we'll show. I found a website that does you just put in all the names and it'll do a random picking thing. So we'll see live on air. No favoritism, no favorites. Doesn't matter if you're a top fan or a staff member. It doesn't matter. It will be completely at random. I see Dave's on. Diego's on. What's up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for joining. Like I said, lots of fun stuff to talk about. So definitely find us on Facebook, and then obviously we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Mixer, we got the page, the web page, and the main page, and all that. So thank you guys for coming in and checking this out. So I did want to say one quick thing that it popped up in my feed today. The craziest thing, 1 year ago today, I was actually being interviewed on WTF Nation Radio. I was a guest on Kicking It with Kaz, right, with Al and Kaz, and they were interviewing me, and we were talking about stuff and comedy and did different things. And now 1 year later, we are just about 20 episodes in of me being on the show. So I'm just so proud to be part of this. I thank everybody that's been a fan and that's kind of joined along on the ride. I've dragged a lot of my friends and people to here to talk about it and see and be part of it. So I appreciate everybody, you guys being here and being part of it. So, here's to many cheers, all guys, to many many more months and years with the WTF Nation Radio family and Pop Culture Warrior, man. I'm having so much fun with this. This has been such a fun thing, and I'm really excited to keep doing it. Second note, before we get into the news, is if you know the show, you know a good friend of ours is Mark Baker. He's the guy that created Private Murphy, and maybe this will recognize. There you go, right there. Private Murphy, the cartoon strip that ran in the Army Times. He was the first guy we interviewed on the show. He's a cartoonist. He's military, and just a great guy. He designed the Pop Culture Warrior logo. If you see the logo, he designed the logo. So he's a very good friend of the show. He has a Kickstarter. He has a Kickstarter right now where he's creating Pop Culture Warrior, Private Murphy figurines, 3-inch little action figurines. And so I know I backed it. I think it's phenomenal. Hey Heath, you gave me a like. Oh, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Spread it out, share it, and we can hit that 250 by the end of the show. But yeah, so if you're a fan of the Private Murphy, check out the Kickstarter so that way you can get yourself a little figurine and support a guy who supports us. What's up, Ship?
That's awesome. I'm just thinking that the whole DoD is about to sign up for that.
Exactly. I mean, he's such a great guy. I mean, if you didn't see if you guys are out there, you didn't see the interview, please go back. Might have been 6 weeks ago. I could maybe put it in the description later, but yeah, he just a phenomenal guy, and doing so much for other veterans, and also just wants to put this thing that he loves and so many of us love and put it out there. So that's something that's out there, and yeah. So you what do you say, sir? Are you ready to get into some news?
Yeah, I'm ready for some fun news, as long as it's some of the geeky stuff, not the riot crap going on. I think that's getting old.
No. We are doing our best here at Pop Culture Warrior to stay away. Like, look, it is a real thing. It is a very serious thing. But if you're here, this is a moment away from reality. This is the same as if you were going to play a video game or watch a movie. This is a moment to take yourself out of what's going on and just talk about some fun, easygoing, fun stuff, and just share on some positivity. So that's what we're here for. So, with that being said, I'm very excited for this. God, please work. I've been playing around with some of the animations and stuff. Let's see if you guys can notice a difference in how we do things here. But first up, let's talk video games. So here we go. Ta-da! It has no sound effects yet. I'm working on that. I'm working on it. But just how cool was that? I'm so excited. I did that. I played around with Adobe After Effects for a good 600 hours and figured out how to do the swipe to fade thing. But
certified now, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. Hey, Ruben, what's up, buddy? I see you guys joining, man. Thank you guys for joining in. So, okay. So, biggest thing in video game news this week, obviously, everybody, even if you're not a video game fan, has heard this. PlayStation 5 had their big event on Thursday and finally revealed to the world the PlayStation 5. They revealed what the system looks like. They revealed a lot of the games they're developing and talked about it. Not a lot of specifics were given on, what I don't know. Definitely not on price. We didn't talk about price, but we're gonna talk about that a bit. But if you didn't see the PlayStation panel, which I think was like 2 or 3 hours long, I've got a little 5-minute supercut for you. So guys, sit back, relax. I'm going to show you a quick 5-minute video of what you missed on the PlayStation event. So check this out.
Welcome to PlayStation 5.
All right. Woo! I'm sweating. That thing had me bumping. That was a pretty good video. Good hype video. So there you go, guys. That was the PlayStation reveal in a nutshell. There was obviously a lot that they packed in there. Some people weren't that thrilled. The fact that a lot of it was very what we call it, trailer heavy. There wasn't really a lot of gameplay revealed. Again, the biggest sticky point was that they didn't talk price. They didn't talk about what was the price of this system going to be. So Shipwreck, let me throw it to you, buddy. What was your take on either that video or the reveal in a nutshell?
The video is actually pretty good. Uh, Kind of giving you an idea on graphics, but yeah, it didn't show much gameplay, and I'd rather know more about the gameplay
Right.
than the graphics. Not saying that graphics are not important, which is definitely important, as long as we're not playing 16-bit Minecraft crap on a PlayStation. But
Hey,
yeah,
don't hate on Minecraft. I like Minecraft, all right? But no, I hear what you're saying. And guys too, remember that I don't know how clear it came across to you guys. But obviously this is a system that's supposed to be going like 4K, 8K graphically. The presentation was kind of dumbed down to 1080, and now me pulling that video and putting it to you guys might have even, the fidelity of the video might have, so don't judge the fidelity, the resolution of this system based on the video you just saw, because obviously it's very compressed. So when you see the real deal, it's going to be that 4K super clear high resolution imagery. But yeah, no, things are looking very good. The system. What's your take? I want to hear your take, Ship, on the design of the system visually. What's your
oh,
take on that?
visually,
Yeah.
it's a lot better than the Xbox for sure. The new one that's coming out.
I mean, let's things like better. Let's not throw around words like better. I think it looks very different. They went a very different route. They
Okay, all right.
obviously sidestepped the traditional system.
Okay, it looks more elegant. Let's play that more elegantly
All right. Yeah.
for our lovely behalfs that don't like our console systems. How about that?
Oh man. You know what? How about this? I'm gonna pull up a little side screen. Here we go. We have uh this side of the screen, Xbox Series X, the new Xbox system, and then now the newly unveiled PlayStation 5. And while they went very creative with the design, they didn't get very creative with the naming. I'll tell you that much. And I see what Dave says, and I agree with what Dave says in the chats. He says it kind of looks like a Wi-Fi router, or an old Alienware case. I mean, definitely maybe they drew some inspiration from there. I've seen all the memes where it looks like humidifier slash air conditioner unit, an end table, and all
Air
the
filter.
yeah, an air filter, a taco. Somebody made it look like a taco because it has the flared edges, or some type of weird futuristic Oreo, all that kind of stuff. And I know a big conversation is, will the system be have different color? Like, is it only going to be in white? And I think as of now, they've only announced that it's going to be in white. But I do think, like every system, right? Every system when it launches, it has the one color scheme, and it might go a year or two, and then they start releasing, special editions, and it's wrapped in a different, the Call of Duty body, or Fallout body, or all the different editions. So knowing that Spider-Man's going to be a huge hit for them, I'm sure there'll be a Spider-Man edition. The big thing that you didn't see in the clip, is that they are going to have two versions at launch. One, as you can see in this picture, has the disk drive attached to the side of it, and then one they're calling their digital exclusive, or something like the digital only something, where it's gonna they say it's gonna be the exact same system minus the CD drive, so it'll be for digital download stuff only. Um, Again, they're not talking about price, but I cannot imagine both those systems being the same price. You can't tell me you're going to release a system that doesn't have a disk drive and it's going to be the same price as the one with a CD drive. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't. Um, so right now, there was one site that was like, oh, we're taking pre-orders, and the pre-orders were like $700. Don't buy
Whoa.
into that. Don't buy into that because they haven't even released when it's coming out yet. Like even the pre-order, it said December, when really Sony themselves said holiday. So they didn't say December. It could be October, it could be November, it could be December. They just said holiday this year. So for a site to say that we're taking pre-orders for $700, don't buy that. Like don't get in that. My best guess is for the top tier version. So let's say with the disc drive is going to be somewhere $500 to $600. That's realistically at $499. I'm kind of staking my claim on $499. I think that's what the system will cost, and then maybe a $399 version without the disc. But I can't imagine like, take off $100 for because they don't have a disc drive. I don't know. But there was other peripherals. They announced like a camera, a media remote control, like all these different things that I don't think are part of the base core system. That they'll be part of like other stuff you can buy into. But based on the video reveals, a lot of it seemed, I don't know if you caught this, a lot of it seemed virtual reality-ish, meaning like when you're watching the game, you saw a lot of like hand movements. Like it was like doing this and this and this. And most games don't really do that unless they're virtual reality, unless you're controlling it with the controllers and mimicking the hand motions. So I know the system has almost like a webcam add-on.
I think that was like a kind of giving a sneak peek to that they might be releasing a headset.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, I mean I would almost 100% guarantee it at some point. They haven't announced it yet, but I can't imagine a situation where they wouldn't do VR. They already have a bunch of VR stuff. It's not like Microsoft where they'd have to get into the VR headset game. They've already got that built-in fan base. They've had the PS View or whatever. So I definitely think that there is a case for that, or if not, maybe almost mimicking something that Microsoft did in the last console, where they have that webcam thing set up, and then they can track, the new technology. They can track your hands, so like you can interact with the game, kind of like the Kinect back on the 360 or whatever.
No, I don't see that, because
It didn't go well for Microsoft, but so okay. Here's the big question: where do you fall between these two systems now? Where do you see yourself and why? Where do you see yourself going and why?
Well, I hate to say it, my kids converted me over to the dark side, so now I'm an Xbox fan. But originally I was all about PlayStation. PlayStation, nothing. No Xbox whatsoever.
Right.
It was a bad word in my house for a while. But my kids converted me over. And looking at the specs though on the 5, I would have to go with an Xbox.
Right.
Because
Go ahead.
you can't compare apples to apples. It's almost like apples to oranges.
Yeah, and here's my thing: like 4 years, and you as a PlayStation loyalist in the past would know this. The leg that PlayStation always had to stand on is we are nuts and bolts a more superior machine. They never, it was never like, oh, we had the best exclusives, we had the best controller, we had the best online play, because all that was Microsoft, or the best, the best lineup of games, the best whatever. The leg to always fall back on, like in any argument you ever had between Xbox and PlayStation, the leg to all the fallback was always our system is more powerful. Our system is graphically better. Our system is this. Well, for the first time ever, Xbox looks like, based on these are the specs that they have put out, both systems, Xbox is better. Xbox has a better CPU, a better GPU, practically the same memory. They've got a better memory bandwidth, better same optical drive, better storage, and are going to have a better expandable storage for Xbox. Because I know with PlayStation they're going to have the SSD slot, whereas Xbox is going to have like this whole like brick expansion thing that you can take out and put in. So I don't know. Steven says game titles will beat operating system. Can't do better than PlayStation. That sounds like the old Xbox argument. That sounds exactly like the old Xbox argument is, yeah, y'all got a better system, but our games are better. Personally, I like the Xbox better. I like the online service better, and I like the controller better. It just feels better in my hand. Obviously, this new
Nah.
controller for PlayStation 5 is completely redesigned. Although it still maintains my biggest complaint about the PlayStation controller in that both thumbsticks are inverted. I don't like holding the controller like this, where my thumbs have to be below everything else. I don't like that. I mean,
See,
some people do, but I don't.
I love the PlayStation controller. To me, that's better than the Xbox controller.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
I
I find it
can
natural to do
react
like this.
faster and
Hmm.
but
Yeah, to each their- and that's the thing. It's a very personal choice. It's a very personal choice. At the end of the day, I don't care how many people make the argument of one console being graphically better. Your eyes cannot compute the difference between, like, if you got a 4K TV and you're running Xbox, and you got a 4K TV and you're running PlayStation, and they're running the same game, your eyes can't tell the difference. Maybe there's difference in like the speed of loading, or like the draw distance, right? Like how far you can see before the computer like is rendering the next things. Like that stuff is maybe noticeable, but like pixels, like the graph, like you can't tell me that this gun looks so much better than this gun. Like it's just it to me it's ridiculous. That like there's just no way. But you know, it's a point of pride for some people that one system is better than the other system. I will share with you guys a little something that I found. Hey, King, you're watching. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining, King. The who is this? I had this. So the president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Jim Ryan, he did talk about a little bit, saying how the design was a bit unconventional from what they're, Sony's known for and what they've usually done. He said the curved two-tone look of the console has become a point of, debate, obviously. He said that the PlayStation sits in the living area of most homes. We kind of felt it would be nice to provide a design that would really grace most living areas. That's what we've tried to do, and we think we've been successful for that. I guess trying not to let's look less like furniture, more like an ornament, I guess. They said this is a bold and daring new look, something that's forward facing, future facing, something for the not for the 2020s but for the future. He confirmed that the only physical difference between the regular PS5 and the new digital edition will be the lack of disk drive. So reiterated there would be no, and also reiterated that there's gonna be no news on the price for a while. And didn't even mention if there'd be a price difference between the two systems, the two models. But I mean, come on, there has to be. You can't tell me you're gonna sell me two things, one less than the other, and they're the same price.
$50 cheaper,
Something, or maybe it comes with a game. If you're gonna say it's the same price, you better be throwing in a second controller or a free game or something to tell me that I'm getting something for less. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting more for something that has less, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you guys are sounding off about what do you think about the consoles? What do you guys in the chat think? I know we've got a lot of hey, what's up, Dominique? Hey, thanks for joining. A lot of people have talked about. Yeah, Steven says specs are splitting hairs. You're right. You're absolutely right. I definitely think. See, Tim says he's going Xbox. I see a lot of people saying they're going to go Xbox. So we shall see. I know, Steven, I know you're a diehard PlayStation guy. I'm going to convert you. I'm going to get you.
Well, with the TV, either console, you'll never know the difference whatsoever on a TV. Now, if you're on a PC playing the same game, it's night and day. It's totally
sure. Oh, sure. Well, I mean, look, there's a reason they call it, the master race, the PC master race, for a reason, because it's not fair. It's really not fair. You know what I mean? You're talking about like you buy a car, it's built, but you buy another car and they're like, listen, every month we're going to send you upgraded parts. Like obviously one's going to blast away from the other because it's constantly being upgraded and modified and everything. And I think they've done a really good, especially with the Xbox One X. I think they've done a really good job of staying on top of like updates and pushing out new features and doing what they pushing it as far as they can within the realm of like, hey, we've got to build it, we've got to ship it. At that point, there's nothing else we can do. So software wise, they've done a lot to improve the experience and make it worth it. And PC, yeah, if you got the money to build yourself a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 PC, it's gonna be hands down better than the $300, $400, $500 console you can buy for sure. But now tell me that you can build a PC for $400 that is comparable to an Xbox One X or PS4/5. I mean, then you're getting into the same kind of ballpark as far as specs goes. But neither
Not
here nor
really.
there.
You'll never be able to beat a console price-wise with a computer.
There you go.
Never will happen. But the only good thing about a console is the portability, or just turning something on real quick and getting right into a game.
Yeah.
Instead of, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's great for deployments.
it's good to travel. So here, let's talk about so one of the things in that hype video and in the reveal in general that got me really excited, and this is a guy who doesn't play PlayStation, the Spider-Man game. And now the Spider-Man game is one of the biggest hits for PlayStation. It was a PlayStation exclusive, and honestly, one of the only reasons I even considered getting a PlayStation ever was the Spider-Man game. It was huge reviews, super successful. Now they showcased this what we could assume was a sequel. So here's the problem: when they did the reveal, they said, "Hey, here comes Spider-Man Miles Morales." Now they showed the video. Everybody, rightfully so, assumed, holy shit, we're getting a sequel to the Spider-Man game. And kinda. So here's what happened. They reveal they reveal it. Everyone thinks it's a sequel. They start interviewing, and one of this is coming from Sony's VP, head of European business. Now, why is he speaking on this? I don't know. But from him, he said, I guess you could call it an expansion, an enhancement to the previous game. There is a substantial Miles Morales component, which is the expansion element, but also within the game as well, there's been major enhancements to the game and the game engine, obviously deploying some of the major PlayStation 5 technology and features. So, his own words were that this isn't a new game. This is sort of like a remastering, an enhancement, a plug-in, an add-on for the Sony game, which kind of made sense at the time because it's like that game just came out 2 years ago. They said they worked on it for like 5 years. How are you going to tell me that this game is almost ready for PS5's launch when it just came out, the Spider-Man game just came out? So that came out. Then after that, Insomniac, who is the studio behind this game and probably the people you should listen to about the game, came out and said something very different. They said they have confirmed that the Spider-Man Miles Morales game is a standalone game. This is a quote. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is the next adventure in the Marvel Spider-Man universe. We will reveal more details about this standalone game at a future date. While the developers didn't go into, they compared the size of this game versus the last game, a developer source did speak to Bloomberg News, reportedly clarifying that it would not be a full sequel, but that it would be comparable in scope to other I don't even know. They call this an expandalone. So it's a mix between a standalone and a expansion. You know what I mean? So it's somewhere in the middle.
It's bigger.
Right. So it's not one, it's not two, it's like a 1.5, right? It's like somewhere in the middle of a sequel, but it's also more than what the original was. So this was a tweet from Jason Schreier, who he's a big muckety muck over there. He goes, the Spider-Man Miles Morales game is not an expansion or enhancement or remaster, despite what any Sony executive comments said. But it's also not Spider-Man 2. This is a brand new standalone game, similar in scope to Uncharted Lost Legacy. So that hopefully that muddies up the water just enough so you don't know what the hell's going on. But so it's not the original game. It's not an enhancement to it. It's not a sequel. It's its own standalone, shorter, smaller, more compact game, I guess. Now I thought about this a lot, and I like the idea. Follow me here, if you will. Very similar to what they've done with the Marvel movies, the MCU. Why not have these smaller, self-contained games that have the smaller kind of side characters and flesh them out? So you got the Miles Morales game. You could do a Venom game. You could do, I mean, my God, there's a myriad of characters, Silk and Spider-Woman and all these other characters. All these people in the Spider-Man universe have these smaller games, and then, like the Marvel universe, have the big crossover Avengers style Spider-Man game where you now bring in all these characters to do this big, massive, crossover event of a game. I don't know. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool because you then don't, you don't water down one person's game throwing in other characters in there. Everybody can stand on their own and then have this really great, add-on. I don't know. Big game. I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I'm not a developer, but I think it'd be pretty cool.
Well, they need to hire you for their marketing. Shit.
I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool, man. If you're telling me they can make a smaller game this fast, because Spider-Man just came out. I think it was a year and a half ago, and they're almost ready to release this next game as its own standalone. You could do that with a couple. I mean, come on, they come out with a Madden game every year. I buy it. But they come out with a Madden game every year, come out with these smaller standalone games that kind of build off of each other. And then every 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, whatever, with this massive, really big, GTA 5 style game, where it's this huge, massive game that incorporates all those features from the different games. I think it'd be a big hit. I think people would be, you know what I mean? Because let's say there's one game that you really liked, and maybe the rest you didn't. That's going to encourage you to get the big game because you're like, oh, I did like that one game, and that's part of it. And I don't know. I think it's business, man. It can make money. That's what I think.
They need to hire you and pay you $1.3 million a year. That's what this sounds like.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I definitely wouldn't say no. All right, what we got? We got tons of gaming news, man. Tons of gaming news. I'm gonna queue up a little something. So another big one. I can find. Where did I put you? Come back to me. So another thing that was just released, and this was after they released after the PS5 event, EA announced that Star Wars, the next game coming from the Star Wars universe, is Star Wars Squadrons. The first trailer was revealed this week. It shows a stunning first bits of footage. Is cinematic views, space combat, variety of characters, some old, some new. It's set in the final days of the Galactic Civil War. It's between the obviously the New Republic and the Galactic Empire. It's going to be single player storyline, but also have a 5v5 multiplayer dogfight mode. I've got a trailer for you guys. We're just dropping hot shit for you all day today. So guys, hang in there and let's see the brand new trailer for Star Wars Squadrons.
I can't shake them. Giving engines full power.
Think you can escape?
This is gonna be close.
Pilots, you are the Empire's strength. We do not accept defeat.
Remember why we fly. For hope. For the new Republic.
Vengeance will be ours.
Seize that moment.
When the perfect shot makes history.
5 pilots.
1 squadron.
The galaxy's finest.
And we're back. How awesome was that? I think that's pretty cool. That's a game I might play. That's a game I might play. What do you think, man?
Oh, I like it. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to try to get in line before Ice does, though. And get that game.
Ice does love him some Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hopefully he
My
sees
question
that.
is you brought up that it was going to be like a multiplayer version of that?
Yep, there's gonna be a 5-on-5 dogfight mode.
Is that gonna? I want to know if that's going to be crossplay or not.
Ah,
Because
I've got answers for you.
Crossplay games.
I've got answers for you. So, Star Wars Squadrons is slated for release October 2nd of this year. It will be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Origin PC, Steam, Epic Game Store, and on virtual reality for both PlayStation and PC. There is going to be cross-play support, so you will play versus others, and I'm sure probably like Call of Duty does, like there might be an option you can turn it on and off if you want it on and off, but there will be cross-platform play. Also, here's the big news to me. It's gonna be $40 at launch. $40.
No. Not 60 or 80?
Not 60 or 80. No souped up versions. It is going to be $40. And the big boon, if you guys are gamers out there, you know this. No microtransactions. None. This is an EA game. For those that don't know, microtransactions basically, you pay $40 for this game. You start to play the game, and then they're like, hey, if you want this color scheme, 99 cents. And if you want this upgrade to your ship, $9.99. And if you want this weapon, $12.99. Like, they start nickel and diming you for every little thing. Those are microtransactions. This game will have 0 microtransactions, and the game's only gonna be $40.
So they're going back to the old school.
They're going old school.
Play it and unlock the stuff.
That's right. You want all the stuff in the game? Play the damn game and unlock it. The only concern is, like, I love what they're doing. I love what they're announcing. I love what they're showing. But my initial gut reaction when a company says, "Hey, it's gonna be $40," it's why? Are you saying the game is not that great and you need to price it down for people to buy it? Is the game super short? Like you buy it, you put it in, and like 4 hours later you're like, well, okay, that's it. I'm done. Like I finished the game. I've unlocked everything. So why? Why is it 40? Traditionally, a $60 game tells you, hey, it's a big AAA title. We're gonna be playing it for a while, supposedly. And then when you get these smaller games that are like $20, it's a short experience. Like you play it once or twice and you got the experience and then you move on. So when a game comes out like this and it's saying 40, and it's something from a developer like EA with a name of a franchise like Star Wars, $40 makes me a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous.
You're reading too much into it.
I hope
they're
so.
looking at all the people that are our age and a little bit older and all the 12-year-old kids, and they're looking at selling in mass probably a lot more than a few hundred.
I hope so. I hope so. David says, is it 40 a month? Nope, 40
40 a
at
month.
launch. Microtransactions, it's going to happen. So David says microtransactions will happen because the developer won't make any money without it. I mean, you can't go back on your word, though. If they come out saying there's going to be no microtransactions and then they turn around and do it, the EA has gotten in some serious hot water over microtransactions. They have gotten into some seriously hot water over it. So if they're going to make a statement like we're not doing microtransactions, I would be shocked. I would be shocked that if they come out and do it and then, and flip-flop on that. Yeah, that would not be a good look, and I don't even think EA could really take a beating, a press beating like they're going to if they do that. So, yeah, that's it. But there you go. That is all of our gaming news for today. I mean, there's obviously a lot more gaming news, but that's see the new logo. It's my new cubed CQ cubed logo. I was playing around with. So what else we got?
You didn't do that.
I did that. I did actually do that. I did.
You're using your force now to make it spin?
So no, yeah. I've been. It's amazing what you could learn to do on YouTube. It really is. I mean, there's awesome cat videos and memes and all that, but YouTube College, man.
College.
Let me tell you something. I got my money's worth out of my YouTube subscription, which is zero. I don't pay for YouTube, so I got my money's worth. But yeah, learning to do all my little digital editing and whatnot. Okay. Ooh. What movies? You like movies, right, Chip? You like movies?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
No
like
commercials.
Movies? That's
no.
right. Let's fucking talk some movies. Swipe it up. There it is. Movie news, new logo. Man, there's so much to talk about. So we're finally getting out of all this COVID nonsense. So we're finally starting to spin up some news, things that we can talk about. So first up, let me bring up this guy. Boom! Who's that? That's Ryan Gosling. And who's that next to him is a Wolfman. So basically, after the success of the reboot of The Invisible Man that was earlier this year, Universal Pictures has officially set their sights on the next of their classic monsters that will be reinvented for the big screen. So Variety reported that Academy Award nominee Ryan Gosling has been tapped to star in Wolfman, a reboot of the property that began with the 1941 film. Gosling himself apparently came up with the pitch for the film, which they describe as being similar. If you saw the movie Nightcrawler with not the X-Men Nightcrawler, the Jake Gyllenhaal, where he was kind of creepy dude, it's gonna have a feel like that. Wolfman was previously rebooted in 2010 by Universal Pictures with Benicio del Toro in the titular role. Plans were in the works for a very different version of the character. So if you guys remember, a couple years ago, Tom Cruise was part of the Dark Universe reboot where they rebooted The Mummy, and the whole idea was they were going to have all these different. They were going the Marvel route. They were going to do the Marvel Universe thing, but with monster movies. There was going to be a Frankenstein and a Dracula, an Invisible Man, a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and then Tom Cruise's Mummy. After that movie came out, plans were kind of scrapped. But basically, there were plans for back when they were doing that Mummy Universe, Dark Universe pitch thing. There were even rumors that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was going to be playing Wolfman in a movie of his own. Obviously, all that got scrapped. So now they are looking for a director hey, what's up, Kaz? They're looking for a director to film this movie. The Dark Universe, like I said, didn't work out, but they're kind of revamping it so that there will be a Dark Universe, but unlike what they were trying to do with the Tom Cruise movies, these won't be connected. So there will be a Dracula movie, an Invisible Man movie, and all this and all that. Well, there was the Invisible Man movie. But there'll be all these monster movies. They're not going to, although they're connected, they're not going to be connected. So other monster movies that are in works include Dark Army from Paul Feig, which is like an unconnected monster movie thing. There's Reinfeld, which is a film focusing on Dracula's henchmen, who they have Rick and Morty writer. They have writers from Rick and Morty and the director from Rocket Man. The Invisible Woman, which is starring and directed by Elizabeth Banks. There's going to be a what is this? Untitled film from James Wan, which focuses on a group of teens who discover that a neighbor is building a monster in his basement. Very, very Frankenstein style. Plus, there's a project from John Krasinski and Amy Pascal, which potentially is a reboot of the classic Bride of Frankenstein. So there's going to be a lot of these monster movies coming in the future, but very new, fresh versions of it, a la Invisible Man that just came out, the horror movie. So not your typical monster movie, but kind of a 2020 horror movie, monster movie. So what do you think? You a big fan of any of the monster movies?
I'm not a big fan of the monster movies. I'm more into like Batman and Superman type movies.
I hear you. I feel you. I'm right there with you. Never was, I've seen them all. I've seen all the horror movies. I've seen the Saw movies. I've seen Jasons and Freddy's and Aliens, and I've seen it all because I love movies. But the monster movies never really caught my attention. I see why in the 40s, the 80s, and whatever why they were popular, but Dracula's been done to death, in my opinion. Frankenstein's a little one-dimensional. Even the best versions were a little one-dimensional. So I don't know. Kaz says that I looked like Wolfman last week, but I shaved. That's right. I did have kind of a Wolfman going. Thank you for that. That's.
I'm surprised your sibling there, your other half, let you get rid of it. Did you get permission?
Funny enough, she kind of tried to talk me out of it. Believe it or not. She just knew I was kind of over it. I do the beard in the winter. I do. I get the big old scruffy beard but I've never done it in the summer. And this was driving me insane. I was sweating. I was hot. I was itchy. It wasn't fun. So I said I was going to do it until the lockdown was lifted. It was lifted. It was done.
You didn't do it long enough, man.
I did.
You got to do it long enough for a while where it's naturally soft with no oils or nothing. And it's.
I got a pretty. I had it pretty big after 3 months, but it was getting too much for me. All right, so let's move past monster movies. Oh, here's a good one. So this falls directly. Let me put it right on Front Street. This falls directly in the rumor category. There is an industry insider who's a friend of mine, a guy named Mikey Sutton. He is known for some pretty good scoops. I don't know who he knows inside the industry, but he knows people, and he drops some really good knowledge. And now, truth be told, a lot of his stuff doesn't pan out, but it's usually because these conversations are happening behind closed doors and things change. So I'm of the mind that all of his stuff is accurate. It's just by the time stuff is released, is that the vision that came to fruition? I don't know. But this is something he sent to me, an exclusive for Pop Culture Warrior. We're talking about the third Doctor Strange movie. So this is Marvel MCU. Everybody knows we've seen the first one. The second one is coming. We already know it's called, was it Medieval Monster? No. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Something like that. So we know that's coming. We know who's in it. We know it's coming. We know who's directing it. This scoop is about the third Doctor Strange movie. So we're talking 2, 3, 4 years down the line. This is straight from Mikey Sutton.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's early. These are the conversations happening behind closed doors that you don't know about. So here's the scoop. It says, in regards to the third Doctor Strange movie, we know Doctor Strange is going to hell, and he won't be alone. According to a source close to him, Marvel Studios is developing the 1989 graphic novel Triumph and Torment, which was written by Roger Stern and illustrated by Hellboy creator Mike Magnolia. That's going to be the basis for the third Doctor Strange movie. In this Macrobe tie, I can never say that fucking word. In this tale, the soul of Doctor Doom's mom is trapped in hell by Mephisto, and since he's unable to free her himself, Doom seeks the assistance of Doctor Strange. So in this unusual team up, one that has Marvel Studios very excited for the creative possibilities, a superhero collaborating with a villain to rescue the soul of a beloved parent. It is rich with emotional and psychological depth, the kind of material that you can conjure sparks on film. So, that's a lot to digest. The biggest thing that, if they're talking about Doom, Doctor Doom in the third Doctor Strange movie, that leads me to believe, by simple process of elimination, that Doom will be introduced before that, meaning the Fantastic Four will be introduced before that, because you can't have Doom without the Fantastic Four. He's kind of their thing. He's the Magneto to X-Men. So that's a lot. That's a lot. We know that Marvel has the rights back to release a X-Men movie. We know Marvel has the rights to release a Fantastic Four movie. They haven't said what they're planning to do with it or how they're going to do it. But if they're talking about Doom in the third Doctor Strange movie, then it's obvious before that we're going to see possibly X-Men and definitely Fantastic Four. The idea of bringing a villain and a hero together on a mission, people might think, oh, that's crazy. But, I mean, look at what they did with Loki. Loki is a beloved villain in the Marvel Universe. And he plays it, from straight to villain, like back and forth, like nobody's business. Marvel has done a phenomenal good job, especially the last 2 to 3 years, of making really relatable, well-crafted villains. I'm talking in Black Panther. I'm talking with Thanos in Avengers, Loki. Like, these are villains that people are really connecting with, and really, obviously they're villains, but you're still like, I get you, and it's not just villain of the week kind of thing. They're people. They're a fully fledged character. So I think by doing this, introducing Doom, obviously in a Fantastic Four movie, and maybe very one version of him, or where he thinks he's the good guy, but obviously he's the bad guy, and then bring him into something like Doctor Strange, where he can kind of play the foil and the character off Doctor Strange and that character, I think is very cool. For those that don't only know Doctor Doom from maybe like the Fantastic Four movies that came out, he is much more layered than what was appeared in previous movies. He's a character that is a genius right alongside of them. He's also into the dark arts. So a lot of things that never really translated well to the movies before was that, like in the comic books and the video games and all the things that Doctor Doom has been in, he's not as good as a Doctor Strange, but he's as versed, close to as versed as Doctor Strange is to kind of the dark arts, the sorcery. A lot of his power comes from his manipulation of both technology, his genius level intellect, but also he's that cross between like an Iron Man and a Doctor Strange. And so it makes sense to match him up against someone like Doctor Strange and have them kind of go back and forth in their movie. I think that'd be super cool to see. I hope beyond hope that they make this happen. I hope that they cast the shit out of it and get a really good Doctor Doom. We need somebody. We need that Loki level character, because right now, like, Loki's the only villain that can kind of play it both heroically and villainishly, But what do you think? What do you think if we get a Doom and Doctor Strange team up movie?
It's a unique concept, but aren't they crossing the lines putting a villain with a superhero? It's supposed to be separate.
I think,
right?
but let's also remember that this is years down the line, right? We admittedly, this is 4 or 5 years from now. What better way to beat superhero fatigue, superhero movie fatigue, than by doing something that bucks the trend, right? Because we don't want to get to a point where it's like, here we go, origin story, power up, beat the bad guy.
You got a point there.
We've seen it, and we're gonna keep seeing it. But I love Captain Marvel maybe didn't, leave audiences crazy like they were hoping it, but I gave them credit for trying to do something different. They tried to tell a story where it's like, wait, is she the good guy? Is she the good? Like, it was kind of like, wait, who's the bad guy? Like it was almost like a murder mystery almost. So doing something that bucks the typical, I was a only child and I just wanted to be a good guy, and then I got hit with this power, and now I'm this powerful, and like do something different. So I like the idea of saying, okay, what can we, obviously team up movies are big business.
Right.
So I look at this as like, okay, we've seen the Avengers team up. We've seen it. We've seen it 5 times already now. Now 4 years from now, let's start seeing team up movies that are, hero villain or all. Where's our Sinister Squad, or what was it? Suicide Squad. Sinister. So I'm thinking Sinister Six. Where's our Sinister Six movie? Where's our Suicide Squad movie? Let's get a bad guy team up movie. And more ideas. I'm gonna read some comments here. Well, first of all, Kaz says that I imagine that people who have large amounts of facial hair smell like Doritos, stale milk, and cigar smoke. You're not far off. Mike says Doom and Strange, also 2 of the most powerful characters, would be cool. That's going with what I said. They are extremely powerful. They're mastery of the dark arts. Ari says they really messed up Darkseid in Justice League. It pains me that they did. Yes, but apparently because of the Snyder cut, we're gonna see a whole new side of the film. We'll see. I don't know. Like promising us the world, like the Snyder cut's gonna be cure cancer. I'm gonna watch it, but I don't know. I'm skeptical. Mike says, you think he needs someone with a college degree to enter the other realm? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. He is a doctor after all. But they're both doctors. They're Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, right? Yep. I think only one of them earned that title though. Only one of them went to medical school. Ari, they tried that with all the Marvel series that were canceled. Like Punisher was far from a good guy. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. So with the Netflix series, there was a lot less of the traditional trope. And I think that's not necessarily because of what they were doing. I think it was because of the difference in medium. A movie, 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever, has to follow a very tight structure of like introduce, fill out the story, end conclusion. And that's it. That's all you get. Whereas the Netflix series, and by that also the ABC series, the Hulu series, all the series they're stretched out. You have time to develop a character, find their way, and interact with other characters, and then conclusion, but that cliffhangers into another season. And so I think they took that opportunity to write really. I was a huge fan of what they did with the Kingpin. In the Daredevil series, I thought, what a great character, what a great way to portray that character. Punisher, very anti-hero, wasn't out there trying to do good, but kind of was, but not the right way. And
don't talk bad about Punisher.
No.
Can't go there.
No, not talking bad at all. First of all, I'm a huge John Bernthal fan. Period. The dude's awesome, straight up badass. I met him a few times. The coolest, nicest guy. Huge fan. What he did in Walking Dead, short-lived and whatnot. But the what they were able to do with the Netflix series was really good. And it's just different than the Marvel movies. But holy crap, look at that. We're already an hour over. So we're gonna take a small break, and we'll be right back, guys. Hang in there. Thank you for being here. We've got tons more to cover, including a new segment here where I say, "Would you eat that?" We'll play that. We'll play that in the second half. We'll go from there. But all right, guys, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
waking up and fading out. Cirrus shapes I found blow me away. Van Allen right around, pushing through. Skin is brown. Nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life. It's never
Call the show now at 415-889-8367. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, guys, what's going on? Triggered my little jump a little early on that one. What's going on? We are back. This is hour 2 of Pop Culture Warrior. I am, as always, your host, CQ. Can we see that animation? Oh, there it is. And with me tonight, our special guest co-hosting is Shipwreck. You there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here. Where's my little special animation?
Feeling
left out now.
I'll work on that. I'll get that right over to you. Talk to my people. My people talk to your people. It's fine.
You know someone that knows someone. Okay, I got it.
I got a guy. We know a guy. We're back. And we left off talking about movies. So let's wrap that subject up. Let's bring this back up. Sweet. Movie news. There it is. All right. So, like we said, we're transitioning out of this COVID stuff, and we're trying to get a sense of when will we return back to normalcy, entertainment wise. This we're gonna need a long time to get out of 2020, but entertainment wise, when are we gonna see return to normalcy? So, if you're tracking the movie news, the theatrical release movie news, the next big tent pole, AAA title that was set to come out in theaters was Tenet. That is by Christopher Nolan, the guy famous for Inception, the Dark Knight trilogy, all that. Which this movie, I still don't know what the fuck this movie is about. Tenet. It looks crazy. It's Mike, you're a funny guy. I see your comment. Very funny. So basically Tenet was supposed to come out July 17th, and it was going to be the big signal that, hey, we can go back to the movies. There's a big, AAA budget action movie going to come out. Well, unfortunately, that movie's been pushed back. So unlike most of the other movies, this has been a very short push because it's going from July 17th, where it was planned originally. It will now be releasing July 31st. But the reason that shift is kind of important, which first I'll say this, the pushing back to July 31st actually opens up July 17th, which Christopher Nolan and his team are going to re-release Inception into theaters to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Inception. So they're going to use that as, I think they're kind of using that almost as a soundboard to see, like, let's see if anybody goes back to the movies on July 17th. So if you want to see Inception again on the big screen, or you missed it the first time, here's your chance. Maybe you were, I don't know, 12 when Inception first came out, and now you're 22, so you can go see Inception in theaters. But all things considered, right? All things considered, the delay, even though it's a brief delay, causes a situation. And here's the situation as I see it. The next movie in line, because of this move, to be the first big budget movie released in theaters is now going to be Mulan, the live action readaptation of Disney's classic Mulan. It's set to release July 24th. So this is a big deal, right? This is there's a saying in the infantry, right? The first guy through the door gets the bloodiest. So I really feel like this is an apt saying here for movies. The first movie to be re-released into theaters, or not re-released, be released into theaters, it's going to get a little bloody. It's not going to look good because it's going to take a long time for everyone to feel comfortable enough to go in mass to theaters. On top of that, so on top of the issue of people just feeling comfortable, it also depends your market. Because even though we talked about it last week, that places like California are opening up their theaters next week or next month. It was June. No, it was this week, the end of this week, June 19th. Some theaters in California are opening. And that might be all and good, but depending on your market, if you're in New York, there's no way you're going to a movie before maybe October, because it's just it's too dangerous in those densely populated areas. Um, what I have here, so Tenant's delay is obviously going to it's signaling that maybe we're not ready to be back to normal. What does Disney do? What does Disney do with Milan? Do they still hold? Because this will be like the third delay for Milan, because originally Milan was supposed to be released in March, and obviously all this happened and it got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So what will we see Disney do? On the flip side, Disney World, the amusement park, is actually opening July 15th. Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are also expected to reopen July 11th, with Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios opening on July 15th. So Disneyland is set to reopen July 17th. So the parks are rolling in. This could be a great plan for Disney to say, like, look, our parks are open, our movies in theaters. But at the same time, they might realize parks are one thing, you can kind of control the population, you can scatter people. Movie theaters are a whole other story, because you're enclosed in a space, typically right on top of each other. And there's a bunch of other factors, right? How many theaters are going to be open? At what capacity are they going to be open? Because we talked about last week that a lot of theaters are going to be under restrictions of like only 25% max capacity allowed, or less than 100 people, whichever number is less. So I just don't know how comfortable people are going to be. What about you, Ship? I've talked to Radar at length about this. What do you feel is the right amount of time that needs to pass for you to feel comfortable to go back to theaters?
Oh, once they open it up, I'm gonna at least wait 90 days. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So
Especially with what's going on in the current environment.
right.
There's going to be another flare up, and I wouldn't be surprised if everything in the movies get pushed back even more.
Right,
Especially
exactly.
the ones that we were already talking about.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. There is a big concern that a flare up, a second spike in cases, given the current climate, a lot of people all together, that could drive a second spike in cases. And then once that happens, I mean, theaters, states, they're going to be forced to then push it further. I mean, who knows? Disney's hand could get forced, and they go, well, we see a spike in 500,000 cases, then we're definitely not going to release a movie. I'm
and
curious.
it's going to be a while before we see the spike with the current climate. My area, we're just now seeing the spike from Memorial Weekend. So
Mm,
all of our hospital beds are completely full now with
wow.
COVID. So, and we didn't get that the first go around. So,
Uh, yeah. I mean, it's true. I'm not gonna lie. I've always been a bit of a risk taker, and so you know, in a smart way, I was gonna say this, a carefully considered choice risk taker. But if they told me, um, August 1st, Marvel's dropping Black Widow, I'd probably be in theaters to see it. I probably would. Um, as
what are
it's
you gonna do? Bring your poncho and put it behind you over the
Yeah,
seat?
you just, dude. I'd get the was the old Mop
Field
Four.
poncho?
I get the old Mop Four
Oh, there you
gear.
go. There you go.
Just have my I wouldn't hear anything in the movie because I just hear.
You're
But
gonna show everyone in the movie theater you can don it in 30 seconds.
yeah, there you go, man. No, and so I definitely think I wanted to see Mulan in theaters. I did. I wanted to see there. It was very fascinating the take that they were doing on it. Um, I want to see Tenet in theaters. So I don't know how comfortable I feel yet. Uh, uh, Given this the situation. So I think I think August, for me personally, I think August feels like, again, where we're at today, right? We're not talking if there's another massive spike in cases and
Right.
things like that. As we're seeing today, as things are ramping down, I'd feel comfortable August to kind of a return to theaters and a return to normalcy. But given what we know and what we're expecting, it might be later. So that is that.
I just have to wait a little longer. It's like buying a car. You always wait for the second year to buy the same car.
Yeah. No, I knew someone who used to always say, remember like iPhones were on us where they would release the whole number, right? The 7, 8, 9,
Right.
and then every 6 months in they would release like the S. So it'd be like the 8S, 9S, 10S, whatever. They would always get the S model because they said it's, the whole number, the 9, 10, 11 are the ones where they're testing out all these, like they're adding all these new features. The S is where they fix them. The S is where they do them right. So I knew somebody who would always get like the S models because he always thought that those were the better ones. But as a tech guy, as a guy who loves tech, I'm of the mind where it's like always get Model 2, always get the point 2, point 3 version where it's been tested, it's been fixed, it's been run a few times. So. But yeah, and speaking of Tenet, the movie Tenet, I just want to put this out there. I still have no idea what the fuck the movie is about. I've seen the trailer, and I should have queued up the trailer to play it again. It obviously has something to do with secret agency kind of things and end of the world kind of things, and in an element, not necessarily of time travel, but like time manipulation. We see parts of the trailer playing backwards, but also while they're going forward. I think it has something to do with that. There's some machine or something that allows you to manipulate time, because at one point he's driving forward, but a car is crashing in reverse next to him. So I don't know, but this was just like when they released Inception. Before the movie came out, nobody knew what the hell the movie was about. They knew it had to do with some type of, messing with people's minds, and that was about it. But here's something I did a little digging. This was what I found. The actor, who's the main actor, John David Washington. He's the movie lead. He's the black guy in the trailer. He's the main actor, obviously. So according to him, he was asked, "Is this like a sequel to Inception? Like, is this in that universe?" And this is what he said. "I would say that Tenet is an in-law to Inception," saying that they're related by marriage, like they get together for Thanksgivings, family barbecues, that sort of thing. But other than that, one lives in Europe and the other one lives in Compton. That's an exact quote.
Interesting.
So it's definitely not a sequel, unless he's just flat out lying. But to say that they're sort of related by marriage, I mean, I again, maybe this is me and I'm reading too much into it, because he could just mean that like the connection is the director, like, right? That's by marriage. It's the director. It's his vision in both movies, and that's what he could be meaning on the surface. But on a deeper level, does that mean they're in the same universe? They're not. One is not based off the other. But very much like, let's say, a Jay and Silent Bob movie where one doesn't have anything to do with the other, but they're in that same universe, right? The characters coexist. So maybe that's what he's saying, that like Tenet is building a bigger universe in the world of like Inception. Like at some point in Tenet, like, do they talk about like, oh yeah, we can incept these guys' minds and shit like that? Like, I don't know, but
I'm definitely not going to be drunk when I go watch that.
You can't be, man. Either that or you gotta be tripping balls hard so that you're on a different wavelength than everybody else.
Imagine if you're on LSD watching that.
God. Oh my God. Inception is a trippy. I got a poster of it in my basement. Like, it's a trippy movie. I love it. Love it to death. But yeah, that's a mind fuck if there ever was one. All right, moving on. So a couple more movie things, and then we will move on. Talking about all these dates moving got me thinking about movies that were upcoming. And one of the big tentpole ones of movies that were coming was this one. Wonder Woman 84, right? We love talking about superhero movies here. And this was the sequel to Wonder Woman 84, and or 1984, I should say. Wonder Woman 80. Let me take you on a little story here. I don't know how much you know about when this movie was supposed to come out and how it was supposed to come out and all that, But let me take you down a little journey. Originally, the movie was announced to release December 13, 2019. Last year, December 13th. Then, a few months later, they said, no. We're going to move it up. You're going to get this movie sooner. The new date was November 1st, 2019. So they said, we're so excited to get to release this movie. We're going to release it 6 weeks earlier, month and a half earlier. Then, as it got closer to release, they changed their minds again. Warner Brothers says, no. We're going to push it back a few months just to get it where it should be. June 5th of 2020. And now, and at the time, Gal Gadot, the actress playing Wonder Woman, said like that was the right place it should be, because the movie opened originally. The original movie opened in June, so that the sequel should open in June. Like that was the right place for it. Obviously, in March, we know what happened. Theaters shut down, and they said, okay, the June 5th date is no good. We're moving it to mid-August. Well, shocker, I know, get ready for this. On Friday, Warner Brothers delayed the superhero movie again. So now will not be releasing in August. It is being moved to October of this year, October 2nd. So that is, if you do the math right, almost a year from where it was originally supposed to come out November 1st of last year. So a full year later, we'll be getting the movie, almost a full year later. And the most recent comment by Gal Gadot about the move, it will be worth the wait. What do you think, sir? You anxious to go see it?
It's definitely going to be worth the wait. I think it's a good move for them to push it because of what's going on, but if it pushing it because of other reasons, then yeah, it's going to be bad for them.
I watching the trailer, I have to say I'm intrigued. I was a fan of the first one. I thought they did a really good job with it. DC has not always done a great job with their movies, let's be frank. But Wonder Woman, I thought, was one of the high marks of the franchises that came out. And had a very interesting take and an interesting mythology and the way they approached the character. And obviously Gal Gadot was smoking hot. It is what it is. But I think she did real justice to the character. Was excited to see the sequel, and I'm still excited to see the sequel. But again, what the fuck is DC doing with their movie universe? Ben Affleck is out. He said he's done. And this is actually going to tie into the next story. But Henry Cavill said for a while he was done with Superman. The Flash actor Ezra Miller, we know he got into a bit of hot water. He did a no. He choke slammed a woman on film, and you don't do that. And so he's probably out. And Amber Heard, who played Mira in Aquaman, she's in a bit of hot water and could be facing jail time. And so she's probably out of the Aquaman franchise. So what the hell's going on? And then they announced they're going to release the Snyder Cut, which changes. And then Suicide Squad's coming out, which is not a sequel, but not a reboot to Suicide Squad that came out, but does kind of tie into Harley Quinn's movie, which doesn't tie. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the roadmap is. But I will tell you why it ties into the next story. Here you go. Superman. This guy. That guy. Right there. Listen. Henry Cavill. He is saying he's back. He has signed a contract or is in talks to sign a contract or is something, but he's back and he's going to continue to play Superman. Now, it's weird, and I'll tell you why it's weird, is because he's not getting a sequel. He's not getting his own movie. He's not getting a sequel to Man of Steel. He's not getting a sequel to, Superman versus Batman. It's not. The plan is to use him as cameo roles, where it's very much like if you're watching a Marvel movie, Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson's character, how he just kind of pops in certain scenes in different movies and then moves the fuck on. or like the Hulk, who has sizable roles but no true movie for his own. So apparently that's how they're going to be using Henry Cavill and Superman in future movies, is that he's just going to be kind of a bit player in other people's movies.
That sucks.
I that sucks for him as an actor, I think, because you're never really going to really dig into a role that you're barely in the movie. But also, like, you have to train very hard to keep a body looking like that. And so I can't imagine, like, it's one thing, like, I joke with my wife, I say, man, I hope I get cast in a Marvel movie, because A, they pay you millions of dollars, B, they're gonna pay for like a nutritionist, a chef, a bodybuilder, like all these people to make sure you look the part. Well, I mean, that's one thing if your role is the movie, but if you're like a bit player in someone else's movie, I can't imagine they're dumping all those resources into you. And I don't know, why would you train 6 months?
On what movie.
Yeah, true. But imagine this. I'm gonna tell you, hey, you have to train like you've never trained before for the next 6 months, and eat right and eat only fucking leaves and berries and nuts, and train 8 hours a day. But don't worry, you're gonna be in about 10% of the movie. Like, it's like, how much you paying me? Because I just say, like, it's one thing if you're the movie, then yeah, you need to look the best you can and you train for months and months and months. But like, if you're a B player, like, I don't know, that sucks to me. But anyway, I will say,
Like a B movie.
here's an interesting thing about all this, right? So he has said that, like, this is a quote he said a while ago, where he goes, where we left off in Man of Steel specifically, it was a guy who had found his place, or was trying to find his place, but had some sort of, and kind of found it by the end, but that he committed something which he considered was a very horrific sin by killing the last member of his species. He's like, that's a place where I would like to travel from with the character, him exploring the positivity of who he is, not necessarily the chocolate box version, to his words, but leaning into that, the character who becomes an icon of hope and enjoying that experience rather than necessarily being made uncomfortable by it. It's definitely, it's a comment of a guy who seems like he wants to dive into a character, but now knowing he set up this thing where he's not really going to be playing the character, more as playing a version of the character, a spin-off version of the character where he's just in and out of it. I don't know. I can't imagine he'd be happy about this. I don't know. As an actor, I can't imagine that's something that you're looking forward to. And the latest, I just found this out today. I was doing a little research. The latest details emerging from all this is that the first cameo is coming sooner than later. You would think it'd be like in the Snyder cut, like they'll reshoot some scenes for the Snyder cut, but that's not it. And this is pay attention here, that the next cameo he makes could be in either Suicide Squad, Aquaman 2, or the Batman. And now here's why that's super interesting if you're paying attention. Suicide Squad makes sense. Batman made a cameo in the last Suicide Squad. Superman can make a cameo in this one. Makes sense. Aquaman 2, sure. Makes sense. But the Batman movie, that's intriguing to me. Because if that is factual, the Batman movie, we've been told, has nothing to do with this version of the DC universe, right? The Batman is being played by Robert Pattinson, has nothing to do with what Ben Affleck did with the character. So why would that even be a hint of a possibility that Superman, especially Henry Cavill's Superman, would show up in that movie? Unless it's him playing Superman, but a different Superman, if that makes sense. Like that world's version of Superman. A different universe Superman. So very much, and I was thinking very hard about this, like, what actor has played the same character but in a different universe? And I struggled until it hit me recently, J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man universe. We had what's his name? J.K. Simmons play him classically in the original Spider-Man trilogy, and then just recently re-portrayed the character in a whole different Marvel universe, but played J. Jonah Jameson in the latest Spider-Man movie. So that's an actor who's played the same character in two different universes. So that could be a case that maybe he does appear in the Batman movie, but as a very different Superman. So I don't know. It's very fascinating to me that that they're gonna relegate one of the biggest superheroes in the world to a cameo bit player. I don't know. Thoughts?
It just doesn't sound right.
Right? I don't know, man. I don't know. And then it's just why show up in the Batman movie? Just I don't know, man.
They've already done Batman and Superman.
Yeah. And they can't okay, so to pick a lane. They tried the expanded universe like Marvel did. Some success, some meh. And now lately they've gone to, we're going to tell stories that have nothing to do with it, right? They did Joker. They said they're doing Batman, which is a standalone movie. And there's another example that's escaping me at the moment. But they want to go down that path of telling one-off stories that could be sequelized, but the idea is that they're unconnected stories. So why stay committed to this connected universe if you want to tell unconnected stories? You know, they've talked about doing Aquaman 2. They've talked about doing Shazam 2, which is part of this universe. Suicide Squad is a follow-up to Harley Quinn, which was a follow-up to the original Suicide Squad. So just pick a lane. Either the movies are connected or they're not. Birds of Prey. Yeah, it was called Birds of Prey. It was a Harley Quinn movie. Birds of Prey was in that movie about 10 minutes. The rest of it was Harley Quinn. You can say it was a Birds of Prey movie all you want, but it was a Harley Quinn movie. Anyway,
Say that. You're gonna make people upset now.
you're gonna want to see us when we're angry. All right, so I do have some other news that I want to talk about. I'm trying to decide what's a good story to cover. You like Joe Exotic? Fan?
I've seen the show a couple of times.
You've seen it?
I haven't finished the series, but
You haven't finished it? Oh man. Oh, well then I don't. I'm gonna save this story because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to.
no, you can go ahead with it, man. I kind of lost interest in it anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what. Radar's a huge Joe Exotic fan, so I want to save that story for when he gets back, because I actually promised the last show we didn't have enough time to cover it. And I promised him I'd cover it the next time, but I don't want him to hate on me. But I'll tell you what, we are gonna cover some. I've called this segment the WTF News of the Week. What the fuck? It's fitting, right? WTF Nation Radio, WTF News of the Week. So, in our first story of WTF News of the Week, actually, it's really our only WTF News of the Week, because then we're gonna go into Would You Eat It right after this. But for our WTF News story of the week, this motherfucker. This is
you,
Jeremy Piven. Jeremy Piven, the actor, very famous for playing the hell was this? Ari or RV or Ari, whatever. He played in the Entourage. Have you heard of this thing called Cameo? Have you heard of it?
not offhand. No.
Okay, so Cameo is an app. It's a web service, whatever you want to call it, where basically celebrities, athletes, all these different people will pre-record a message, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is, for a fee. So you could say, you could reach out to, I don't know, Tony Hawk, Michael Jordan, whoever's on there, or actor, I don't know, Sean Austin, whatever actors are on there. And you can say, hey, record this saying happy birthday to my nephew, and they'll charge you, $100 or whatever it is. And they will record the message, you get it. Boom, you get a pre-recorded message. It's been very popular, very successful. Lots of people love getting messages from celebrities. So they rolled out a new feature recently, where now instead of just a pre-recorded short message, you can actually pay to have a 10-minute Zoom call with said celebrity, right? Now, obviously,
there must be a catch to this.
no, I mean there's not a catch. I mean, the catch being that like they could say no, like, or if you ask for, or like if you pay your money and then you get on the call and you try to like show your dick or whatever, they can hang up, and they're not forced to endure 10 minutes with you. So like if you do something that breaks the code of conduct, they're allowed to hang up, whatever. But
it has to be ethically,
Yeah. There's no sexy time unless you're super hot. Then they're probably cool with it. But so the idea is that and obviously celebrities are charging a premium. So for instance, Lance Bass, very famous of NSYNC, will charge $250 for that pre-recorded video, but will charge $1,200 for a Zoom call. Sean Austin, the actor, will do $300 for the recorded message and $600 for the Zoom call, things like that. Now, the reason I said this motherfucker takes it to a whole nother level. I don't know how big of a fan you are of his. I'm
not really.
He's a decent actor, but I'm not that excited to talk to him. But for a 10-minute Zoom call, do you know what he is charging for a 10-minute Zoom call?
Maybe 1,000? I don't know.
$15,000.
What?
$15,000 for a Zoom call with Jeremy Piven.
What in the world is he smoking? I want some of that good stuff.
I'm like, are you who is such a fan of a guy who, let's be honest, a decent actor, but only really known for one role on a semi-popular show a couple years ago? It's different if this is, I don't know, Chris Hemsworth or, or Ben Affleck or somebody who's huge, known for $15,000. Tony Hawk is on the site. You can get the pre-recorded message for $200, and $1,000 gets you a 10-minute Zoom call. Smaller celebrities like Andrew Dice Clay, the very famous comedian, will do $300 for the pre-recorded, and like $1,400 for a Zoom call. But $15,000 is absolutely insane, in my opinion.
That's more than insane.
Yeah. So basically, goes on. This article goes on to say, Zoom calls are the newly added feature to Cameo. The company founder and CEO Steven Galanis said on Twitter that while prices seem high, they're actually a much better deal than the pre-recorded videos they've been famous for. If we do find product market fit, the market maker in me is extremely interested to see what this does for pricing of our core. Because right now, Cameo Zoom calls seem expensive on an absolute basis, but cheap when you're looking at the per minute when compared to the classic Cameo videos. Because you're getting 1 or 2 minutes tops in that $300, and it's a pre-recorded message where you're now getting, outside of Jeremy Piven, of course, you're paying $1,000, $2,000, and getting 10 minutes of a live video, like where you're having a conversation. And going into your point, purchasers agree that when they pay for this, they'll abide by Cameo's terms and conditions, which means it's up to the talent as how they'll fulfill the recorded video request, if at all. Buyers will learn within 7 days of a purchase if the request has been approved or denied. So you could say like, hey, say happy birthday to so-and-so, or, say, hey, you hate, I don't know, black people or something like that. They can deny that and say, no, I'm not going to do that. The Zoom calls work a little bit differently because purchasers are expected to comply with Cameo's acceptable use policy, and the talent can disconnect from any active call at any time with anyone who doesn't abide by the policy. And I'm sure somewhere in the background they're recording this stuff, so they can't just hang up for no reason. But yeah, it's
I would like to be the guy that reviews those videos.
But yeah, just what the fuck, man? $15,000 for a 10-minute call. I mean, like I said, you get me Tony Stark, get me Thor, get me somebody. Jeremy Piven is not it. Jeremy Piven is not the guy that I'm going to spend $15,000 for. So, yes. All right. That's done. So this brings me to my new segment, which I don't have a banner for yet because I just came up with the idea today. But this new segment we're going to call Would You Eat It? Are you ready to play, Mr. Shipwreck?
Yeah, I'll play along, but I might play the fifth.
And you guys watching at home, please play along. Let me know in the chats if you would eat it or not. We've got 2 candidates today. I'm just seeing the chats now. Hang on a second. Dave says hi because they're hard. Dude, it's a lot of kids movies and shows. Yeah, you're right, Dave. It does go back to the practice of back to the price the market will bear. You're right. Absolutely right. As far as that. And yes, he was in many kids movies and shows. Yes, he was a foil for many child actors and a bunch of stuff. I'm just saying he's mostly known for his Entourage character. Okay, so our first contestant in the Will You Eat It? All right. Doritos. Everybody knows Doritos. You like you like Doritos, right? Sure. You know, wild was it with the Cool Ranch and Flamin' Hot?
Remember the
Nacho?
Doritos contest where they had like a whole bunch of off the wall flavors and you would vote which one you like?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, actually.
I do. Well, let's see if you like this flavor. Here we go. Doritos Tangy Pickle is it says here Doritos has come out with a pickle flavor in the past, but the intense pickle chips were only available in Canada. So for the first time ever, pickle flavored Doritos are on store shelves in the US. And based off the name, we can only assume that the new Doritos has a vinegary taste. The I in pickle is replaced by the lightning bolt, so we're hoping that means the chips have a real kick to them. Thanks to a few Instagram accounts, including Junk Food on the Go and The Impulsive Buy, we know that Dollar General is carrying the new flavor. It's not clear if that's an exclusive item, like the Pringles chicken and waffles and the Fritos barbecue, but you might as well make Dollar Store your first trip if you're looking for these. So no word yet if these are a limited time item or if these are here to stay. But sir, would you eat Doritos Tangy Pickle Chips?
That sounds like something you don't really want to walk in and say yes to that.
Will you have some of my tangy pickle?
Yeah, I could see. No, I could see how that's gonna go in the barracks.
All right. Let's see. So Chad in the chat says yes, hell yes. Dave Weiner says sounds like an adult movie title coming from a guy named Dave Weiner. That's impressive. Steven says nope. Mike says pregnant woman would would like those. Yeah, I read that wrong. Pregnant woman would like those. Probably. Kamo Boss says they will stay on store shelves. Then again, potheads get the munchies and will eat anything. Jose with a big thumbs down. Chad, give you $3.50 and I'll eat anything. Careful there, buddy. I will hold you to that.
I have to take them on that one.
I will. That is a bargain. You know what? Screw it. I'm not going to spend the $15,000 on Jeremy Piven. I'm going to send $350 your way, and I'm going to send you some nasty stuff to eat. Heath says sour cream and onion Doritos were the bomb back in the day. I'd have to agree with you, sir. Yeah. And I see in the private chats they're asking about the DVD update. It hasn't officially come out yet, so I'm not gonna talk about it until I get my hands on it and get some time to play with it. So next week we'll be talking about the new live DVD update. That is a video game, for those that don't know, Dead by Daylight. We will talk about that next week. All right, very cool. So I have an option 2 for you. Dave is going straight to the dollar store, the equivalent to a movie going straight to DVD. That's pretty good. I like that. So chips going straight to dollar store is the equivalent of a movie going straight to DVD, straight to the bargain bin, at a DVD store. Yeah, you're very astute. That's a good point.
That must tell you how great those are.
There you go. All right. So are we ready for our next Would You Eat It? Let me cue it up here. There we go. Where are you? So let's take away that. And for the next Would You Eat It challenge, this is Pepsi Pineapple. Pepsi is known for introducing exciting flavors, and the latest one sounds like the ultimate summer drink. Pepsi with a splash of pineapple juice was recently spotted at Walmart, according to the Instagram account Candy Hunting. A pineapple-flavored Pepsi was first released in Japan in 2019 to major success, although it's unclear whether this is the same recipe as that one. So a little over a year ago, Pepsi introduced a few other fruity flavors, including lime, berry, and mango, all of which are described to be the Pepsi you know and the love and love with a dash of fruit juice. So pineapple seems perfect addition to this lineup. Pineapple Pepsi is available now at Walmart, and a representative of PepsiCo confirmed to People that it will be replacing the lime flavor. So if you were a fan of the Pepsi Lime, you might want to grab a few cases before they're gone for good, because this pineapple flavor will be replacing the lime flavor. As a side note, Pepsi hasn't just... Shoot. Sorry about that. There we go. I'm having fun over here. As a side note, that Pepsi wasn't just experimenting with fruity flavors. The brand is also taking a stab at coffee. Pepsi Cafe, announced in December, blends the taste of rich coffee with that of its signature cola to create 2 flavors, original and vanilla. So each can contains nearly twice the amount of caffeine than a regular Pepsi. So there's a few there. We're talking Pepsi Pineapple as well as the Pepsi Cafe, which is the coffee drink. So what say you first? Before we go into the chats, what say you, Shipwreck? Would you have Pepsi Pineapple?
No. But then again, they've been on a kick to, what was I going to say? They've been on a kick of actually combining a whole bunch of stuff like cherry with Dr. Pepper and all that. So it's a new trend.
Yeah. What about the coffee flavor? Is that any interest in Pepsi coffee?
Does it have CBD?
That might be the next flavor coming out. All right, so in the chats, we have Heath says Pepsi isn't racist enough for me. Okay, I'll trust your word on that one. Jose says thumbs down. He is not having Pepsi Pineapple. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was for the pickle Doritos. Pepsi Pineapple gets a thumbs up from Chad, and Jose gets he's doing a little scratching the chin action. He says that maybe he's interested. I can imagine this would be a really, for those that like to mix like Coke and Jack Daniels or something like that. Maybe a Pepsi Pineapple flavored, and then mix it with, I don't know, rum, vodka, Jack Daniels, something to give it a little fruitiness. I could see where that would be appealing. I can't imagine just cracking open a can of Pepsi Pineapple and enjoying it. But yeah, maybe.
What's your boat?
Maybe. So, all right. Well, guys, that was our first ever Would You Eat It? And I like this. This was fun. I like this segment. We're gonna
keep on every week.
It'll
be a weekly thing.
I don't know if it'll be a weekly thing. Maybe I'll collect like 3 or 4 items, and then when I have those items, we can talk about it. Because we just had, I don't know if you saw, it's 2 weeks ago, we had Chips Ahoy came out with Sour Patch Kid Chips Ahoy cookies, and I said how disgusting that sounded. And someone who watches the show and is close to me thought that that'd be a challenge, and so they bought me a pack of Chips Ahoy Sour Patch Kids cookies, and I ate them. And I have to say, they weren't bad. Definitely not great. They tasted kind of how I thought they would. A little less gooey than I thought they were. Because, you know, Sour Patch Kids are very, very gooey when you chew them. They were definitely a little bit less gooey. It's kind of more like melt in your mouth. But still, kind of a weird, sweet, then tarty. Yeah, it was not a fan. Not a fan. And I love sweets. Love sweets. Anybody that knows me knows I've got a massive sweet tooth. Yeah, that was less than enjoyable. So, all right, cool. I really like this. Chad said Sour Pepsi Kiwi Mango. Sour Pepsi Kiwi Mango. I don't know if that's a thing or you're just saying what combination you want. Mike says Pepsi Malibu. Yeah, Pepsi with Malibu and the pineapple. I could see that being a thing because, you know, Malibu with like more like the coconut rum and Pepsi with the sweetness and the pineapple flavor. Like that could be a nice mixed drink right there. Make a thing. Nice summer drink. But all right, guys, that has taken us to the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, chilling with us, having some fun with us. As we do every week before we leave you, I'm going to drop you a little comedy clip, a little leave you with some laughs. Shipwreck, you've been our guest. Do you want to say anything to the crowd? Do you want to sign off before I send us off here?
I need to come up with my own saying, like, you know, Pookie, you know, taxation is theft and all. I don't want to steal that. I really gotta think.
You need a sign off, man. That's what it is. You need a sign off.
I know.
You can always go. The fallback is shots.
Shots? Yeah, I'll do that. Shots.
All right, guys. As always, it's been a super pleasure hanging out with you guys. This week, I'm gonna leave you with the comedic. I'm gonna leave you with the comedic stylings of a very funny man. He is an active Coast Guardian. I don't know. What do we call Coast Guard people? You know, are they sailors? No, that's like Navy, right? What do you call them?
Coasties?
A coastie? Yeah, he's a coastie. I like he's a Coast Guardian. I'm a big fan of that. So we have an active Coast Guardian. It is comedian Noah Miller. He's a very funny guy. You guys are gonna love this video. Enjoy, have some laughs, guys. Stay positive. You know, be good to each other, and we'll see you next week. Shots. Enjoy the video. Shots. Noah Miller.
Put your hands together for Noah Miller!
Thank you guys very much. Yes, I am in the Coast Guard right now, actually. The other guy's on duty, though, so don't worry. We got it all covered. We're good. It's hard being in the Coast Guard with like with all these other like cooler like branches, right? You know, it's like the Navy's got like the SEALs and the Army has like Green Berets. Coast Guard recruiting posters literally have people cleaning up oil spills on them. Like that's our pitch. In the Marine Corps, you can fly a plane that in midair turns into a helicopter. It's called an osprey. And the Coast Guard's like, you can clean oil off a bird, and that bird might be an osprey. Interested? Like, we just need to stick to our message. Like, join the Coast Guard. We won't send you to Afghanistan. Like, somebody's got to look after Key West. You know? And the Guard itself. I have a really hard time having productive conversations with people because I don't listen to them when they talk. It's not like I'm not listening, but we all have that inner dialogue. Like you have it right now, right? You're just like thinking other things while they're talking. I'm always like, what can I contribute to this conversation, right? Like, what do I know about this? This guy was talking to me about Venezuela recently and all like the violence and the political unrest and everything going on. And when he finally finished talking, I was like, yeah, well, the capital's Caracas, so... I don't know if that helps. Bogota's nearby, Quito, Lima. You guys know the song. Yeah. I'm really, I see a lot of engagements on Facebook. I'm sure you guys do too. I'm really starting to doubt the sincerity of Proposal Face. proposal phase, that's when you get proposed to, like, instinctively, you're just like, oh my god, like I got one. Like, I don't think you're really that surprised, right? If you're getting proposed to, I think there was a nice trail of breadcrumbs for you to follow to let you know. You know, it's like, all right, he asked to meet my parents. He asked me what my ring size was. We're in this hot air balloon. It's a normal Saturday. This guy following us around with a camera. Oh my god, he's on one knee. What happened? I think it's worse, like, if you are surprised when you get proposed to, like, that is worse, because then you have, like, 5 seconds to make the biggest decision of your life, right? Like, I'll take longer to pick, like, ketchup at the grocery store than somebody would to ruin their life. No. By the way, it's that ketchup, it's price per ounce, okay? It's not about total price. Yeah, we dress those up a lot. Like, relationships in general, like, people still look for their soulmates. You know, like, I have a friend that thinks she married her soulmate. She's like, my husband, he's 1 in a million, he's perfect, there's nobody else. But, like, talking to her more about it, she's really only dated 2 other guys. Yeah, I said, your husband's not 1 in a million, he's like 1 in 3. Like, it's good you're happy, but, like, it's like no bragging about it. Statistically, you're compatible with 1 billion other guys. That's not as impressive. But it's all, yeah, it's all dressed up, and there's so much pressure to get married, like when you're dating somebody for a long time. I know because I was dating somebody for a long time, and now I'm married. No, but think about it, like, if you're married to somebody for 10 years, like, that's an accomplishment. People congratulate you. If you're dating somebody for 10 years, people are like, what the hell is wrong with you? Do you like hanging out with each other when you're not under a contract? You freaks. You're married already. Yeah. I like going to weddings. I really do. They're a ton of fun, but I think they're too expensive, like, for what you're getting out of a wedding. Like, the average cost of a wedding is actually $40,000. Yeah, that's like nationwide average. Like, in DC, you might get a photographer for that much. Like, maybe. But yeah, I mean, like, if you think of a wedding as just a big party, which it is, like, you should be getting more out of that. If your buddy called you up and was like, dude, I'm going to spend 40 grand on this party, like, do you want to come? I'd be like, yeah, 40 grand, like, that's going to be wild. It's going to be such a crazy party. Like, it is going to be crazy. We do have to go to church first. Okay, we have to go to church first, and honestly, most of that money is going to be spent on the food. Oh, what if I just eat before I get there? No, it's going to be chicken or fish. You got to tell me right now. All right, who's going to be there? Oh, dude, all of our friends, all of her friends, my grandmother, 2-year-old nephew. It's going to be crazy. All right, you guys have been really fun. Give it up for...